Good day, everybody. Welcome to Living Life in Joy. I am Rev Melissa, and I am so excited because I haven't done like a live recording of an interview of someone in a minute. I have been sharing my Sunday sermons on Living Life in Joy. So it's wonderful to be back for our new month of December. Can you believe it? It's December, y'all. Here we are. Here we are. So Living Life in Joy is a wonderful show. It's very different from Morning Sip with Rev Melissa in the sense that this is the show where I get the opportunity to speak with and share with and be with people who are connected to their yes. They are here doing what they are here to do and being who they are here to be in the world. And so I think that is absolutely wonderful. So I have an exciting guest to share with you today. So without further ado, let's go, set, ready. So y'all know I'm producing myself, okay? So let's just get that clear right now. So you'll just like send Rev Melissa some love and some energy right now as I navigate all the things. So I'm going to do that again, right? Let's do that. Go, set, ready. There we go. So now let me introduce my guest, and I want to share just a little bit about who she is. So I told y'all to bear with me. I'm going to put up this beautiful picture of her holding her best-selling book, and we're going to get into that. But this is Gail Ferguson Jones. She is the author of the Amazon bestseller Butterfly Rising, a journey to love, healing, and freedom from the cocoon of codependency, in which she shares her experience with 3 generations of alcoholics in her immediate family and how she found recovery from codependency. Gail is a member of the Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown, New Jersey, where under the instruction of the Reverend Frankie Timmers, she has completed the first year of studies to become a licensed science of mind practitioner. Yes. Gail is also an award-winning journalist. She is the host of the Butterfly Effect podcast and a certified peer recovery coach who works with those who love someone struggling with addiction. So now, without further ado, please welcome to Living Life in Joy, Miss Gail Ferguson Jones. Yes, Gail.
Yes.
I did it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Welcome to Living Life in Joy.
Thank you. I was so glad to hear from you. I mean, I told you you brightened up my mornings throughout the pandemic with Morning Sip. So I was really appreciative of hearing from you. And I think you recall when at first I didn't know who you were because I didn't know your full name. And then once I looked at your Facebook page and I was like, I know you, you're Reverend Melissa.
I love that. And Gail, it was a testament to me that you never know who's watching.
Yes.
Right? In life, in general, you never know who's watching and the impact that you could have on someone's life. And so you are having an incredible impact on people's lives. But before we get there, I would love for you to just share. I like to say that living life in joy has a sprinkle of won't he do it on it. And
Yes.
so if you could share just part of your journey and your won't he do it story.
Yes. So I was raised, in the Christian faith. I used to tell people it seems like church was the delivery room where my mother gave birth to me. and but um what I didn't know was how many limiting beliefs
Mm,
came out of that. And so we get awakened by things in our lives, situations in our lives that seem daunting, and we
mm,
don't know that the universe is going to work it out for
mm,
us. And so I was born to a mother raised by an alcoholic mother.
mm,
So she was codependent, which at the time, of course, we didn't know what codependency was. And then my father was an alcoholic.
mm,
So there was that. And I was just a kid.
mm,
And I was thinking that Satan was doing this. I
mm,
didn't know.
mhm.
And, these are people that I loved dearly. My grandmother and my grandfather, I just adored them.
Yes.
My grandmother and my father. So, um, but just watching what was happening, it had a very, it's painful. And you love people, but love and fear doesn't coexist very well.
Mm,
And that's what codependency is. It's all the ways that we mismanage the situation trying to love them.
mhm,
And at the same time, they manipulate us, they're dishonest, they don't care, they're selfish. So most people think that addiction is just people around you are high and they have their drunken antics. But there's actually mental, emotional, and actually spiritual abuse going on.
mm,
And it's very painful. And then the fear of watching them self destruct and being helpless to do anything about it.
yes.
So as a child, that was very painful to watch. And lost my grandmother at a very young age and lost my father during my college years.
Mm,
And so I got married and I married my father. There you go. And it was a childhood, a teenage crush. I guess
mm,
we called ourselves dating, but really no.
right.
And so as adults, when he showed up at my door, he had the same exact look of love in his eyes from the time I opened the door that my father always had.
Mm,
And it just took me in. Of course, I just saw it, and I
right.
just couldn't get rid of him from that day on.
It was familiar, right? It's like,
Yes,
oh, I know this.
exactly. And that's all I saw was love. Um, and so, we dated for quite a few years and then we got married and we had a very high, we were like a power couple.
Mm,
We had great careers. We had everything everybody wants.
mm, mhm,
And then well into it, my mother-in-law died. And that's when he turned completely into my father.
mm,
With the drink, he turned to alcohol to deal with his grief, and he just got pulled all the way into it.
wow.
And so now I'm thinking, why does this keep happening in my
Mm,
family? And I was raised to think the devil was always busy. So that's what I
mhm,
thought. So I was praying and beseeching, and God, all the beliefs that I was raised with, I was like, God, please, I was expecting magic.
mm,
And when that didn't happen, so anyway, my husband's health just spiraled down, just like my grandmother and my father, who had already lost their lives to the disease.
mhm,
And when it just got to a point where I actually got diagnosed with PTSD,
mm,
I realized I had to do something different.
Yes.
And that's this is what my book is about. The first part of the book is about my experience with those three, who I start out saying beautiful people. Addiction happens to beautiful people,
Mm-hmm.
and they're good people inside, and
Yes.
they have their own pain. It was not personal against us.
Right.
They have their own pain, and unfortunately we join that. So codependency is also called co-addiction, because you can't live with somebody in that and not get caught up. You share in the disease. It's a
Yes.
family disease and you share in it. And
Yes.
so that's what codependency is. So you do everything to protect them, you do everything to save them from themselves. You make excuses for them. You don't set boundaries. You accept all the lies and manipulation. You live in frustration,
Mm.
resentment, blame, and shame, and not knowing that you don't have to live in that. That their addiction is not. You don't need to share in that.
Right.
You can take the focus off of them and place it on yourself. So once I got that diagnosis, that's when I finally learned to surrender it to what is known as a higher power in recovery circles. That's
Mhm.
when I went to the Chopra Center just for an emotional healing retreat and learned how to meditate. And then I just got deeper and deeper into metaphysics and got involved with Michael Beckwith and
Mm.
Agape International, and just learned. And my cousin gave me a copy of This Thing Called You,
Mm-hmm.
and at first I was reading it and I'm like, I didn't know who Ernest Holmes was. I didn't under I just couldn't figure it. I was like I was just drawn to it. And
Right.
that's what I would call won't he do it? Like spirit knows what you need. And
Yes.
so even those prayers that were a little misguided were being answered.
Yes.
Um I wasn't coming, I didn't know about affirmative prayer at the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that the universe was for me and not
Mm.
against me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand that I could just affirm life
Yes.
instead of being afraid of it. And
Yes.
once I got into that, things quieted down at home, even though
Mm-hmm.
my husband's health kept spiraling. But I wasn't fighting against anything. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I learned about when you live in the affirmative,
Yes.
and I found that spiritual connection, and
Yes.
I would just meditate every morning. um I bought these CDs, and I used to do Oprah and Deepak's meditation, 30-day
Yes.
meditation.
I did those too. They were great.
They were great. So that's how I learned how to meditate, and I just started my spiritual practice of
Yes.
doing that every morning and journaling
Yes.
and getting to know myself for a change instead of pointing the finger at somebody else.
Yes.
And it just changed my life.
That is so beautiful, Gail. What a testimony. And I love the name of your book. You call it a journey to
Yes.
love, healing, and freedom from the cocoon of codependency. I love those words that you chose. They feel very deliberate and intentional.
Yes.
The love, the healing, the freedom, and the cocoon. Could you
Yes.
speak a little bit about that?
Well, the cocoon is that first part of my life, or the part where I was going through the struggle and didn't understand what was happening or why
Mm-hmm.
it was happening, or why spirit wasn't, well, why God wasn't responding the way I thought God. Because what I learned was my time in the cocoon was me telling God what to do.
Mm.
Basically, like, would
And
you
how did
fix
that work for you?
exactly. My thing was, why aren't you fixing this yet?
Hmm.
What's going on? I'm waiting for you. I'm
Yes,
praying to you. He needs to be fixed. It was
that's
all
right.
about somebody else. It wasn't about me.
Right.
And so once I realized that I could only focus on me. And I used to go to Al-Anon and I learned the serenity prayer,
Mm-hmm.
but I had my own interpretation of that. My interpretation was, you know, um, to accept the things I cannot change and change the things I can. So I got stuck on that second line, change the things I can. So
Mm-hmm.
I became more determined to
Yes.
try to change things. And once I really sat in meditation and made that spiritual connection, that's when it dawned on me the things I change are within me.
Yes. Yes.
Then realizing that I was divine love, that spirit was already within me.
Yes.
There was nothing else I needed to ask for. So that's when I came out as the butterfly. That's when I
Yes.
broke out of the cocoon, and I've been rising ever since.
Yes, yes. Butterfly rising. Yes. So, Gail, you are a certified peer recovery coach.
Yes.
So, share a little bit about what that is. And if someone is watching the show today and feels like, oh, that is what I need in my life, how would they be in touch with you?
Now, here's the other interesting part of Won't He Do It was that as soon as I started getting my freedom, and I was still in the thick of it with my husband,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to help other families right away. Trust me, I was never the helping type. I
Mm-hmm.
was not the type that wanted to save the world. And for some reason, I still was in a very early stage of my own recovery. I don't even think I knew the word codependent at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But spirit was leading me to, um, how can you help other families who need help? Because when I needed help, I didn't know where to turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know. So, part of our self realization is like, wow, you're coming out of this. And so certified. So I used to I called myself an advocate. There was no such thing as a peer recovery coach when I started in this.
Okay.
And so of course I wanted to write a book first to get it out. And then I just thought, okay, I'll go around and speak. So yes, but then people were like, you should coach people, you should work with families. And so a peer recovery coach, first of all, I'm your peer because I have the experience. We have a shared experience as a family member, a significant other, a
Mm-hmm.
child, a brother, a sister. I share that experience that you have loving someone who has an addiction.
Right.
And from that, I help you find your way out of enabling, out of supporting them, and
Mm-hmm.
letting them have to suffer the consequences,
Mm.
and you freeing yourself up to live your best life, not giving up on loving them. You're still there. You make it clear, I'm available to you if you choose help. If not, I have to detach. You
Mm.
can't, like when I realized that I got a diagnosis of PTSD, I didn't even know it was that serious.
Mm.
That's when I realized, and my doctor used to tell me, she said, I fear that he could take you down before he goes down.
Right. Right.
And so I help people realize that that's what's happening to them, and that we're not doing them any good if we're supporting them and they're not working, if we're giving them money to buy drugs or alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
if we just let them manipulate us, if we live in their denial.
Right.
All of that actually is spiritually sickening, emotionally sickening, physically sickening.
Yes. So I have a feeling that that is resonating with someone, that someone has tuned in today and needed to hear that. So if they need support, Gail, how can they be in touch with you?
So now, will you be sharing the link that I gave you?
Yeah,
Um,
I could share that in the comments section when I post it,
okay.
but I could
And
also throw up something right now on the screen.
okay, so they should email me
Hmm.
at at butterflyeffect.com. And butterfly is butterflyeffect.com. And just reach out. They can find me under my own name. Yes. They can find me on Instagram under Gail Ferguson Jones, or on Facebook, Gail Ferguson Jones.
Okay.
And however, the same way that you just messaged me on Facebook.
Yes. Okay.
But it's my life's work. I love it. You know, I love seeing people get free.
Yes. And you also have a podcast by the same name, right?
The podcast
Butterfly.
is by the same name. So I talk to experts. It's an interview show where I talk to experts in the field of recovery. I talk to former addicts. I talk to their families, other recovery coaches, anybody who's had experience and can help share what families are going through and how to get support.
Yes, yes. Well, this is wonderful, Gail. Info at butterflyeffect.com. That is the spelling. It's not a typo, y'all. Okay.
Yes.
And please purchase the book. It's already an Amazon bestseller. So let's keep that going.
Yes.
And so let's get into our second segment. So there are 3 joy questions that I ask. And this is just quick responses. So the first question is, what does joy feel or look like for you?
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 examples. One was just the other day, because what I did out of this was find joy. And to me, that's what butterflies represent. Mm-hmm. So the other morning, I had a call coming up, but I hadn't put the recycling out at the curb yet the mm-hmm. night before. So I had to rush out to put it out in the morning. And it was, mm-hmm. We live in the Northeast. It's cold out. Mm-hmm. But yet when I got outside, I had to put on a whole bunch of clothes and everything. And when I got outside and took a deep breath of the fresh air, it was just joyous. Mm-hmm. It was just, I'm the kid that grew up in Brooklyn. So I didn't really have an appreciation for nature. I really was used to smoke out of the bus and stuff like that. Right. Subway smells. Right. But, instead of feeling like, oh, I got to drag this recycling out and all, I just felt so much joy and gratitude. Yes. Just taking a deep breath and dragging the recycling containers to the curb. So we can get joy in little things. My mm-hmm. bigger joy is just praying with my mm-hmm. prayer partner, who was my fellow practitioner student with me. Mm-hmm. And just, even though I'm not licensed yet, people do ask me to pray. People who aren't even in our way of thinking or understand science of mind or anything ask mm-hmm. me to pray with them. And yes. that is joy to me too.
Oh, I love that. I love that. The second question, I say I'm living life in joy. What are you living life in?
I'm living life in freedom.
Yes.
Freedom from chaos, freedom from negativity, negative thinking, freedom from limiting beliefs. Yes. Freedom from judgment. That was a big one for me. I was taught to judge other people. Mm-hmm. It's so freeing not to do that anymore. Yes. And to see the divine in everyone.
Yes.
That is that's freedom to me, and that's joy.
Oh, I love that. The last question. What is your joy song and why?
My joy song is Agape International Spiritual Center, their choir, Spirit Says to Sing. I love to sing. And I've always driven my husband and kids crazy because I'm always singing in the car. I'm always singing, and they say I can't sing, and I swear I can't.
I Look, I have to Google that one. I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, yes, you have to. Yes, that's
So
a great
Spirit says
song.
sing.
Yes, Spirit says to sing your song. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And again, that's joy. Spirit
Yes.
is calling us to live a joyous life
Yes. Yes. To live life in
in
joy.
joy. Yes.
Yes. Gail, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
your spirit, for sharing your gifts with us all. Please, everyone, go out and support this wonderful, wonderful spirit that is showing us as Gail. Please buy her book, Butterfly Rising: A Journey to Love, Healing, and Freedom from the Cocoon of Codependency. And if you need support in this area, please reach out to Gail. You can catch her on social media at Gail Ferguson Jones. And please tune into her podcast. I take it, Gail, that your podcast is on all the platforms for podcasts.
Yes, yes, it is.
All right, so you
Yes, it
can
is.
find her, Butterfly Effect. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. It was wonderful to have you. And Gail, I tell you, there was no accident that we came upon each other the way that we did.
I agree.
Yes, all things are always in divine right order. So
Yes.
peace and blessings to you. Blessings on your journey to becoming a licensed practitioner. It's
Yes.
wonderful to have you in the club.
Yes.
Prayer is powerful. It is powerful, and it will change your mind and
Yes.
change your life. Yes, yes, yes. All right, Gail, thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll be listening. I'll be watching.
Okay. I'm counting on it. I am counting on it. Be well. All right, y'all. So, wasn't that amazing? Yes, yes, yes. So, again, it's so wonderful for me to have this platform to share with you people who are living their life in joy, who are doing their work. I am Rev Melissa. I am an ordained interfaith minister. I am a licensed religious science practitioner. I am a spiritual life coach and the spiritual director, senior minister at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living in New York. And right after Living Life in Joy at 11:30 a.m. today, we have our Sunday and Praise service at Rockland CSL. So you can join me there on Zoom. You just go to our website, rocklandcsl.org, and click on Sunday service, and you'll be in the Zoom room, or you can watch the service on Facebook. It is live streamed there. And as always, please tune in Monday through Friday for Living Life in Joy, where we talk joy all the time. Not living life in joy. Morning sip, morning sip. Spirit in practice, morning sip. Monday through Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. All right. All right. There we have it. Everyone have a wonderful Sunday. I will see you tomorrow for morning sip. Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and justice, because we're living life in joy, connected to our yes.